Hey guys, welcome back to AO Farms and welcome back to our new player series on Elm Creek, starting in new farmer mode on our road to $1 million. So, carrying on from yesterday, just a quick recap of what we have done. We've planted some sorghum. At least I think that's sorghum. Yep, so we've got some sorghum in the ground underway. We've gone a bit crazy on our greenhouses. So we've got 8 in total, and we've configured it so we can drive our water truck through here to fill these productions so they start producing lettuce. So we're going to configure them all to lettuce. We went and purchased this little Joskin Aquatrans and filled it up with some water. We did some harvesting. We're a bit low on wheat, so we need to get some wheat ASAP. What else have we done? Sold some eggs. Little bit of a new equipment lineup, which we sort of recapped last episode as well. But basically, the newest addition is these greenhouses just here. So these are going to help boost our money intake, and we're going to set these to auto sell. So obviously, we'll just run over there and I'll explain a little bit about the strategy here. So this is where the pallet spawns. Obviously, the issue is that we don't have frontal access to this line of pallets. We can only access the pallets from the ends, which could be problematic for material handling. So the strategy is we drive in with the trailer with water. We top off at each one of these water points to keep the the greenhouses filled with water, and therefore they'll start producing lettuce. So in here we've got some lettuce underway. Let's have a look at the production point. So I've set everything to selling so far, and it's only got about 4,000 litres of water in there. So we're going to have to get that topped up ASAP. So I'm thinking that the little Aquatrans that we purchased is not going to be up to the task, so we're likely going to need a larger trailer for water, which I believe I was looking at this one here. So the 32,000 litre container. However, it's 70 grand, so need to possibly take out a loan or figure something else out there. And we also need a dolly to attach to, so we've got a turntable there, which you can see, and then we've got a drawbar, tow bar sort of situation in the front, so that should connect to one of our tractors, so therefore we can use the New Holland, this one here, to tow the larger tank through this area, because it'll just reduce the amount of trips I have to make with this little guy. It only does 7,300 litres, whereas the other one does 36,000, so quite a big difference. And it will, so the difference is only 700 litres between these two, but they're effectively double the price. Well, not double the price, but almost. Whereas this one will do water, fertilizer, and pesticide. So that's the plan. Eggs are moving along nicely. Probably actually need to shift some while we're here. So let's jump in here, quickly move a couple, and then we'll get on with the rest of this episode. So we are moving along reasonably well. We're still planning on sort of purchasing another couple of fields and getting some of our productions cranking. So the next one I really want to get online is probably bread. So that's going to require the grain mill and the bakery. So that'll be something we're working towards. And hopefully the greenhouses and the chickens will help fund the majority of that. There is a used trailer that I will most likely purchase today, so I'll run you through that in a second. So that's just to get rid of the other trailer that we've got. So it's the one that has a articulated front axle, which is problematic for reversing and maneuverability. It's really just more of a tow behind sort of trailer. Whereas the one that we've got on sale for the used vehicle is essentially just a drawbar, which is far more preferential. So I'll show you what I mean. We'll run over to the trailer in question. So this is it here. So it's got a front turntable on the front axle, which is fine. But when you try to reverse it, it's just problematic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto drive this down to the shop. We're going to sell it. And then while this guy is driving down that way, we will go ahead and purchase so it makes it really maneuverable for turns like this. However, that's basically the only real benefit, and you can link a couple together as well, so that's the other benefit. So you can get as many as you want to daisy chain together to connect this to this rear drawbar and pin. So it's up to you. You can really make a pretty long vehicle out of it, which will improve your steering. But for what we need, particularly for the chicken coop, so if we just jump into the build mode, just getting in and around, reversing the trailer is going to be much easier with the Class trailer, which is this one here. So the Carrot 140 TD, so it's 55% off, $7 grand, so we can afford it. It will carry everything in game, and it comes with an extension for $2.5 grand, or just a standard configuration for 12.6. So I'm thinking I'll go with the 22.5 cubic meter, because it's only $2.5 grand extra. Let's check out the wheels. I'll probably just go standard wheels too, save some cash. Chassis color, I'm not too worried about. But you can see it's basically set up to be a larger capacity trailer, which is going to help us with what we need to do. So we are going to buy that. We've got another case, axial flow. So I wonder if this is bigger than... Yeah, this might be the big boy. So we've got the... So if we look at our garage, 71550. So this one is the 9250. So the difference between this one and the one that we've got. So this looks to be... I don't want to sell that. So it's only 450 horsepower. It'll do 10,000 litres and 30 k's per hour, whereas this one is 1,400 litres and 634 horsepower. So it's a bit more robust, higher end, bigger capacity, but also bigger cost. So the one we've got is pretty good, but this is the next step up in the case lineup. So I'm going to pass on that for the moment. What do we got here? This looks like a baler. So 100 horsepower. This will do round bales at 125 centimeters. So you can see that on the left-hand side. Top speed is 70 k's, 17 k's when it's baling. So we're not really going to do baling at the moment. So I'm just going to pass on that also. Okay, so let's get this trailer sold. And then we've got our new trailer just sitting there ready to go. So we'll go and put that to use straight away with some chicken feed. So I'll just drop that off in the cell area. So this is our OG Welgo. Good trailer, but just a little bit surplus to our needs at the moment. So let's sell that for $7 grand. Good little cash boost. Alright, let's go grab our new Class trailer. So these extensions come in handy so without having to make the trailer longer or wider, you can make the trailer higher and you still have the same access benefits. So benefits of length and width. The only downside is the height, obviously. So you can see in this case it's not super high, but they can get a little bit higher than this. Now this looks to be... Yeah, tip side back. Let's go tip side back where we were. We can't overload anything at the moment because there's nothing in it. But basically that back portion sort of lifts up like a bit of a guillotine, for lack of a better word. And I think it may tilt, actually. Does it have a ram? Hydraulic ram? Can't really see it, but I believe it might tilt as well. So this is going to be primarily for carting around the chicken feed, so the wheat and the sorghum in this case. And I'm going to go from there. So last episode we scouted out some potential locations for, potentially should have repaired this actually, because it's looking like it's pretty aged. So hopefully that's not going to impact our performance too much. Now I'm pretty sure we don't have any wheat on board at the moment. So if I jump in here quickly, you can sort of see we've got 203 litres, so yeah, we've got nothing. So let's, and you'll see straight away like how easy this is to reverse as opposed to the other trailer. So there was absolutely zero chance I'd be able to do that with the Welger. Okay, looking pretty good here. I'm just going to move this combine out the way. So we're probably pretty well suited for having this. Whoop, don't bump the trailer. Oh, this is not going well. So this trailer is actually probably pretty ideal for what we've got on at the moment. I mean, not this trailer, this combine, because of the size of it. So my preferred trailer is actually the Fendt, or the Claas, the top of the line ones, just because of the size of them and what they can harvest in terms of volume. So let's get this header unfolded and I'll drag it out the way. So that should unfold, drops the drawbar, and then we are away. So just tidying up the farm a little bit while we've got a bit of time. I'll leave that there. Sorghum's still got a few growth states to go. We've got nothing else we can purchase. So we really need to fill these greenhouses actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video there. I'm going to fill up as many as I can, and then we'll come back, we'll sleep, and then we'll see how much money we get. So this might take a little while, so I'll see you in a few minutes. So after a few minutes of trying to fill these greenhouses, I've decided I need the bigger tanker because it's just taking too long. So I'm going to sell this Joskin Aquatrans, and I've already leased the large tanker and a dolly, so you can see that just here. So I'm going to go set these up. First I'm going to sell this, so let's get that disconnected. So just because of the time factor, obviously we're a little bit low on cash, so leasing these two items makes sense right now. So obviously we want to try and purchase, but I don't want to spend half an hour trying to fill 8 greenhouses with a 7,000 litre tank when the greenhouses themselves take about 20,000 litres, and I've got 8 to fill, so I'm just going to save a lot of time. So let's hook this up. So we're just back into the dolly if we can line it up, and then we should be able to connect this one to this one. So now the only other way to do this is if you have a truck, because this is obviously to be designed to be used with a truck. So let's go there. But with the dolly and tractor, achieves the same objective. Nice and simple. Alright, so maybe we'll grab some free water on the left here. And I just want to show you something in regards to the speed at which this fills with this water source versus the water tank. So I'm wondering if it's just me or other people are having the same issue, but just worthwhile mentioning. So let's see if we can drive in there, refill that trailer. So it appears that it does take a little bit of time. So this might actually be the same speed as Might actually be the same speed as the other one, but obviously this is free, and the water container, so the water tank, does charge you a small fee per litre. So I think a full tank on the Joskin Aquatrans was about $700. So there is some cost there if you don't want to drive to the lake here. I mean, it doesn't have to be this lake, it can be any of the ones. I mean, this is obviously probably the closest, so it makes sense to fill up here. So I'm just going to turn around. Hopefully I don't have to... Yeah, we should be fine. So it'll just keep filling while we're driving. Hopefully this tractor is powerful enough to pull it out, which it looks like it is. So even though it's 350 horsepower, it's still going to struggle with the weight. So we're not actually... Oh, and then we're starting to accelerate now because we're getting up the hill. But this is where a really powerful tractor would come in handy. Up around the 500 horsepower mark would be ideal. So let's just drive over there. I'll do one run of filling and then we will cut the video again. And we'll see how we go. So not too far to go. So what I'm probably going to have to do is drive in. So we'll come in the main driveway here. We will swing to the left here in between the chickens. So the other thing with this is you've got to be mindful of your turning circle. And then we will just pull in through the middle. And we should get the overloading triggers start to identify themselves straight up. So basically when you park the front of the axle next to a trigger point, it should begin to fill. So this to me looks like it's going to take... So that one's full. Which one are we filling now? This one here. So it'll be close to being filled? No, didn't take it all. Interesting. Alright, let's just drive forward. Then we should get the next overloading icon. Oh, it's still going. So this should deplete us now. Okay, cool. Alright, let's go fill up at the water tank just so I can demonstrate that for you. And then we will cut the video and I will fill these up and I'll let you know how many trips it takes. So all you basically do is you pull up next to your water trigger. So make sure your trigger's sort of facing outwards so you can interact with it. Hit start filling. And you can see there the time it's taking. So it seems to go faster if I rock back and forth, so this might be a bug. So at the time of recording this, there was a recent patch that I think impacted a few settings. So this will take a little bit of time to fill up. So what I'm going to do is I'll cut the video there. Once we're filled, we'll come back and then I'll let you know how much it cost. So we're currently still filling that water truck. I think there's a bit of a bug at time of recording this where it takes a really long time, because normally it shouldn't take as long as it's taking. So just word of warning there. But while we're doing that, we'll get a couple of other jobs done. So I'm going to fertilise this field. Now the good thing about so I'll let this guy run. Basically you can see our money depleting on the top right hand corner. So it's cost us $3,000 to fill this water. So yeah, he's now full. So you can, once you initiate the filling, you can walk away and let the vehicle fill up. So that is a little bit easier than just sitting there waiting for it to fill. But I am pretty certain that is not intentional and it should be much faster. So you can even see with the unloading, it's a little bit slow. Okay, so this is a little bit quicker, which is not too bad. So our work is finished here. Let's get him back to base. So I think the sorghum takes 4 days to grow, possibly 5. So I think we're on day 2 or 3 here. And we should be getting pretty close to, well, harvesting in the next day or two. Let's check back in on our tank. So this stopped overloading because I got out the vehicle. So there is a setting that you can change to disable automatic engine start, which you can turn off, and it leaves your tractor running to help with the unloading. So if we drive along here, we should get the rest of this to unload, or we'll at least get a trigger for it. Yep, there we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the rest of these up, and then we'll come back in a few minutes. So I just wanted to demonstrate that part of the process and point out the issue with the filling, that it seems to be a bit slow. So I'll see you in a few. So while we're waiting for the water to fill, I've just had a quick look at the contracts, and there's a cultivating contract here I'm interested in. So it's for field 32, and we're going to use the Case Steiger quad wheel with the, I forget the name of that cultivator, but let's have a look at that. Oh, I didn't borrow the items. That was silly. Ugh, that was very dumb. So I accepted it with my own equipment, but obviously I don't have a cultivator, so I should have borrowed the items. So let that be a lesson to you right there. So let's cancel that, because I'm not going to hire the equipment because it would cost me too much. And the rest of harvesting, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. So let's go back and wait for our tank to refill and check in on our greenhouses. So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, here we are. We are refilling, or still filling, the greenhouses for the first time. So we've still got a few more to go here. So the plan, so basically while this is filling up, I've basically come in and I've turned everything. So I'll quickly run through. Everything's set to selling in each one of these production points, and I'm going to turn lettuce on for each greenhouse. So we're just going to focus on lettuce. The plan is we're basically going to come in each day, top up the water, and we'll eventually get back to refilling the whole lot. So we've got full water supply at each time. Given that it's taking a long time to fill this tank, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to have to leave this fill, go off and do other jobs, and then, so there we go, so that's filling now. You can see our money's depleting. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and sleep for 1 day, see how much product we produce. So it's set to selling automatically, so we cop a 30% hit on the cost of the product, but I just want to see how much we actually make out of 8 greenhouses. So they're not quite all running at full capacity, but I'd imagine over the course of a full day they should produce a fair amount of inventory. So we're bumped up to about 10 grand. So how much water has that used? So that's used about 2,000 litres. So each one's used about 2,000 litres. So if I keep on top of the filling, we should be okay. And how much did we make? So between March and April, so we are now in April. So we made 10,000 in March and we've made 6,000 in April so far. So we're probably on track to make anywhere from 10 to 15 grand per day with the auto cell on the greenhouses. The only provision is that we need to keep them filled with water in order to get that benefit. The other thing we could set to storing, and we could manually handle these pallets and move them and sell them. But basically I want to automate this as much as possible. There are mods you can get to auto water each greenhouse, so you don't have to fill them. So then they're essentially a 100% passive endeavor. So there's no interaction with you having to fill the water. They basically just produce whatever you want, and you can set it to sell or you can store it. So Because we're selling automatically, I'm not really gonna... The only thing we have to worry about is keeping the water up to it. And it looks like on a daily basis, they're taking about 2,000 litres of water. So that's pretty manageable with our 30,000 litre tanker, which is still filling from yesterday. So we'll leave that video there. Thanks for watching, guys. Consider subscribing. Leave a comment if you've got any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.